Didn't hardly get any video today. I thought I'd lost my little Gorilla Pod and my phone adapter, but when I got back to the car, it was laying right by the car. Well, it's 4 a.m. About to head up towards North Carolina. Gonna try to fish most of the day today. I'll start off probably hitting some of the DH streams and finish up on one of my favorite places to fish, which is a wild stream where you do have a chance to catch a North Carolina trout slam, but sometimes I don't ever get quite high enough to go after the specs. But should be a good day to fish. The water's nice, and it's a little cold this morning, but should warm up also as the day wears on. Well, I realized about 30 minutes up the road that I had left my hat, so I'm getting a little bit of a late start. I'm gonna wait for the fly shop to open and see if I can't purchase myself something. It's about 48 degrees, so pretty chilly, and don't know that I want to be out there without a hat on anyway, but certainly not today. So slow start this morning. Had one LDR, one other bite, but hadn't hardly done anything. Water's up a little higher than I expected, so there's not a lot of pockets to fish. Better than average day of fishing. Probably landed 14, 2 pretty decent little wild bows, one decent wild brown. Of course, I had a good brown on, probably 11, maybe 12 inches, but a little fat one too, and he got on a little limb and flopped off when I went over to try to untangle him, but didn't hardly get any video today. I thought I'd lost my little Gorilla Pod and my phone adapter, but when I got back to the car, it was laying right by the car. So still a good day though. Beautiful weather. Western North Carolina Blue Lines, wild trout. Can't beat it. So I thought y'all would appreciate this fishing story. So I get about 25 miles up the road. It takes a couple hours to get up to the mountains to fish, and realized I forgot my fly fishing hat. I like to fish in a hat, trucker's hat like this, but it's a Blue Ribbon Flies from West Yellowstone, Montana hat. So I realized that I was going to get late to where I wanted to go, just because I was going to have to wait on the fly shop to open up. Go in, found this hat, bought it. Get to the late harvest streams, which I typically don't love fishing the late harvest. Just don't really enjoy seeing other people as a general rule when I'm out. But, you know, enjoy catching bigger fish and just wanted to try to do something different. By the time I got to the stream that I wanted to fish, it was almost shoulder to shoulder. Managed to hook one and lose it. It wasn't much. It was kind of that little 10, 12 inch one that they put out in a lot of DH streams. I didn't really have a lot of luck. Water was way higher than I was expecting it to be. But so anyway, that kind of started my morning off like that. Fishing on one of my favorite places to fish was really slow. Catching fish here and there, but honestly, it was LDR and a bunch. Just I don't know if they just weren't hitting them good or my hook sets weren't good, but I was catching them and then losing them and catching them and losing them. First fish of the day, I LDR'd, not just at the DH, but on the wild water too, on the blue line. So anyway, I finally, late in the middle of the afternoon, I hooked into a great brown. He hit the bottom fly, which at the time was a little pheasant tail. He immediately ran behind this rock and just kind of being lazy on my part, I went to lift him up over the rock. He was a fat brown for the Blue Lines, probably 12 inches, might have been 11, but he was a great fish for that stream. And when I went to pull him over the rock, the top fly, which was a parachute Adams, hooked on a branch on a log that was in it. So I couldn't pull him anymore. He was hanging out of the water, flopping around, and so I had to try to move through some really fast moving water. And when I went to take my net and scoop him, he flopped off. So disappointed in that. Knew it was probably the best fish I was going to catch that day. It was probably pushing the best fish I've ever caught in that stream. I've caught on an 11.5-inch rainbow that was fat out of that stream one time. But anyway, get him off the line, untangled. Decided I probably needed to dust my fly, and I dusted my fly. And when I went to put my floating back on my backpack, I dropped it, and it was in the stream, but it wasn't really moving away from me too fast. I was kind of blocked behind a little eddy on the rock. So I kind of went after it downstream and reached for it and missed, and realized it was going to get away from me. It was about to go over a tiny little cascade. And so I grabbed my net and I scooped it. And when I did that, I actually fell forward and I slammed my 3-weight I don't know how in the world I didn't break it. I'm now in the creek up to my shoulder in the water, and my brand new $20 hat and my $200 polarized Oakley sunglasses fall off, and they're floating down this cascades, and I'm in the water, and I just sort of, with the same net, with the float still in it, I scooped, just sort of lunged and scooped, and picked up my hat and my glasses. So I got out of the water, went over and sat on the bank, and was really disgusted losing that fish. I knew it was probably the best fish I was going to catch today or yesterday when I was out there. Possibly the best fish I've ever caught on that particular body of water. And then I thought to myself, well, I managed to save my $10 bottle of floating, my $20 hat that I just bought, my $200 sunglasses. I didn't fall and break my $500 fishing rod, and I also didn't break any wrist or bones, although I got a pretty nasty little bruise and cut on my left shin bone right there. But it was just one of those days where all the plans and all the things that I wanted to do didn't really quite work out, but it's was several hours in the mountains of western North Carolina chasing trout, and certainly getting into enough to make it worthwhile going. But thought I'd share that with you. It's one of those wonderful big fish got away stories that we seem to have all the time, and also it's a shame I didn't have my tripod video in that little hole, because it would have been good video watching me flailing around in that creek trying to save my gear, and also not soak myself completely, which I got pretty wet, but I never got over my waders. It was my sleeves and my hat and things like that. So just thought I'd share that with you. Hope y'all have a blessed day.